First of all, Razor, I guess just what are your immediate thoughts after the game?
Gallant French team. Firstly, I just want to praise them for 11 month season. They've come over here, left their summer to come to our beautiful winter and put in a performance like that. They would be very proud. So just like to commend them. A lot of debutants, but hugely spirited. And just really pleased we found a way we'll be better for the experience as a group. A lot of our players, 10 points down at one stage, and we found a way, played some really good footy. Got held up. How many times did you get held up? 3, 4? Yeah. So some really good stuff in it, and we're better for it.
Just tell us, what was the situation with the late change today with Luke coming off, and how disruptive has that been with Rico also a late withdrawal too?
Yeah, it's been one of those things. There were innocuous events, like he sort of just came out of the mall. Luke did, and he said his quarter was gone, and Ardie 8 and Dupes to 7, and straight away there was a change. We really feel for him because it was a big night for him at home. Yeah.
How do you think Ruben and Damien went today?
Yeah, there's some moments. Again, they'll be better for it. Second test in, there's a hell of a lot of kicking. They kick the most out of anyone. France, Greasy night, test footy. Both of them will look at the tape and be better for finding a way to get us back in the game and getting a result.
Ardie, what was your view of the game?
Stoked we got the win. Like Razor said, it was a test match, and you play the same team 3 times, and each test is different. And I think we got kind of punched in the nose in the first half, and then we came back in the second. And like Razor said, you got to credit the French defence, stopping us from scoring a few tries on our goal line. That shows character, but also proud of our men too for just doing their job, rolling their sleeves up and coming away with the win.
Razor, did you guys get away with a forward pass in the lead up to your try just before half time?
Sorry, did the TMO pick that up?
Yeah, did you guys get away with a big forward pass from Will Jordan to Severus?
Did we?
I think a lot of people on this side of this room would say so.
Oh, look, I'm not aware of that. Sorry. I can't. I can't honestly answer that. Yeah.
Guys who at lunchtime on Thursday weren't playing big roles. Will Jordan, Geordie Barrett, Duplessis, who wasn't expecting to start, scored tries. Geordie made that try-saving tackle. What does it say that these guys who sort of got big roles late on, played important parts like that?
We know how important the 23 is, and Geordie was just so professional when he came on. He made a massive difference for us. Look, some of that wasn't pretty. We understand that, but there was a hell of a lot of character and efforts that, off the back of a lot of care.
Scott, when you make 10 changes like that,
Yeah.
you probably always expect to lose a wee bit of cohesion. You mentioned you found a way. Just given the changes and everything, and you're giving those fringe guys opportunity, what do you take out of a game like that?
What we take out of it is you're going to play different teams. They mixed up. We're having 15 in the line, 14 in the line, and a 1 in the back. They changed their wings. They play a lot of one pass footy. They come around the corner. They attack differently to anything in Super, probably nearly in World Rugby. So you train all week in opposition to trying to be the French. It's really unnatural. We hold width, we hold pass, multi-passes. Teams make lots of tackles. They have 2 phases, or kick or get in and maul you. I think 90% of their lineouts have been mauls. And then from that maul, they just roll around the corner, and they're good at it. We know it's coming, we've got to stop them. And that's what we've learned again tonight, especially with that little bit of dew. It gets to a test match footy, they get ahead of us, it fills our hunger, but that's test footy. You never underestimate anyone, and we're better for it.
Was there anyone in particular of those guys that you promoted that stood out for you?
I a few of the guys off the bench. I thought Brody McAllister's try, that was great. He was on a treadmill there for a little while, didn't he? But he got there, slid in nicely, used that dew Those are big moments. I thought, you know, the whole front row bowled them early. They were superb. You know, we had a couple of injuries, which will let you know down the track early in the piece, but the guys just battled on. What are the names? Yeah, there's some great cameos off the bench. Yeah.
Ardie, you spoke about the 13 goals in the first half.
Yep.
How do you explain that? The aggression was not that good in the first half?
I think the French put us under a lot of pressure, and you know, we spilt the ball, gave them opportunities, gave them scraps, and that was through the pressure that they put on us, and they just kept compounding their frees, and it got out to a good lead. So you know, that was a moment where we, as leaders, just took a big breath and you know, used the tools that we have to go in. And I'm really pleased. Just before the half, you know, we got stuck into it and we were able to get 7 points. You know, just before the half time, and you know, that was a good outcome going into the half time, and then coming back and finishing the job.
What did you learn from the behavior of the French in such games?
Pardon?
What did you learn from the behavior of the French?
The behaviours.
Yeah.
Oh, they're spirited, physical, menaces at the breakdown. You know, they disrupted our ball, and a few times, it was time I carried and they stripped it out. So just real niggly around that, and just big and physical. So, you know, the message was that we needed to carry lower, and when we were on the breakdown, just get the ball out and give our nines quality ball.
Yeah. It's critical. Yeah, that's a real massive factor. We learned last year, didn't we, the other way, how important those guys that come on and they were clean, they were straight, everything that we've been asked for and trained for, and they come on and won that moment. You know, Brodie's one of the best scrummagers in New Zealand. As a hooker, they treat him as a prop, really. That's what they talk to him around. They're pretty happy to have him under his arm, the props. That's really important. Look, cricket, all those things, like one thing for us, we've got to get the balance right, didn't it? Sometimes we can probably overplay, and sometimes we underplay with our kicking, and that's the balance. Oh, timing. I was getting interrogated before with that. Like, that's good, but the actual, yeah, I'm just really pleased. Just those guys, the players get to experience it. You know, got Tawatawa come out and had a couple of good carries, and now he's a 2-test All Black. He's better for it. Yeah.
Scott, even though you never got the reward for it, how important was the territory and possession dominance that you had pretty much for the last quarter of that particular game, and how vital is that in terms of what you were trying to build on in terms of the structure that you want to attack with? Yeah,
look, both halves, you know, there's 2 starts and 2 finishes to a game, isn't there? And that first half, we created so much. As Ardie said, bravely enough, you know, we went for the corner and then got held up again just before, but then played on multiple phases and scored right before half time. Great try from Anton. And then straight after half time, you know, the kick-off, we didn't get that right, put pressure back on ourselves. But we knew if we built pressure and held the ball for long periods of time, nearly 300 tackles, wasn't it? As mentioned, their power of possession would override them, and fortunately it did. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think the coaches would have been, Ray would have been. But, you know, like as players, we talk about being fearless and courageous. And me and Jules kind of got that chemistry around looking for that space. I think my execution was off. I think I'm feeling myself too much doing it in Super Rugby. But, yeah, probably just I think we saw the picture. Probably execution wasn't there. But obviously, if you look at the outcome, we put ourselves under pressure. So, you know, that's a lesson for a leader like myself to take that in and learn from it.
Luke Jacobson, Torrell, going to get the X-ray on his thumb. So there was another early one, and there was a couple of months. It was red hot through the old comms. So look, like I said, and guys guts it out. Yeah. It'll come out in the press release. I can't actually medically say exactly how long, but it'll be a few weeks for it to heal. Yeah, it's the same hand and the same frame, same fracture, yeah. Yeah, straight away, that's all yeah. 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 Yeah, great engine, isn't he? Just keeps training. We're trying to get him off the field. He just keeps going and going. And, you know, when you lose a couple of locks, you know, he's going to have to play. And he did. I thought he's remarkable. He's better for the 3, and he's a hell of a young kid. I'm pleased for him.
Thank you very much.
Can I just, sorry,
Sad, yeah.
Juliet, just one about the breakdown. How it was obviously fierce at the breakdown
Yeah.
tonight. That's what the French do, Northern teams do. How differently was it policed by Angus tonight?
Look, I think, you know, as a leader, you try and kind of get a feel on how the refs are refereeing the breakdown and what they're looking for. You know, I thought Angus refed it well. There was a few times our cleaners were slow and the French got on the ball. And, you know, for myself, you noticed, you know, some debris around our breakdown, so you just kind of let the ref know about that to keep an eye on that, and we got some rewards from that. So, you know, breakdown's a hard thing to ref, so you try and keep it out of the ref's hands and control it. But the French were successful in some of the parts of the game, so that's something again that, you know, we can be better at moving forward.
Cheers, Seth. Thank you. Cheers.